Hi, I'm Brett Parker, Multimedia Specialist for Dairy Foods Magazine. Today we're highlighting the Milk Cup, a cross-promotional interactive video game tournament in which women Fortnite players compete with each other in an effort to claim the largest North American prize pool in women's esports history, all in the name of promoting milk. Here to discuss this with us is Al Dejewski, Senior VP of Marketing at Milkpep. Al, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, Brett, and thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So could you please explain the initial inspiration behind creating the Milk Cup and how the tournament works?
Yeah, and in fact, let me take a step back and tell you about MilkPep's primary focus on being females. In 2022, we were looking at our marketing activities coming off an Olympic year and trying to find out how we could maximize our investments against a core prospect audience. I always joke we don't have Pepsi or Coca-Cola budget, so we have to be a little bit more surgical about where we spend our money and how we communicate with that target audience. And for us, we made a very bold test in 2022 where we said, we didn't want to be in the game of sponsoring events, but we wanted to be in the game of sponsoring women. And it started out with a concept of building Team Milk 26.2, an effort around marathons and promoting women that were running the New York City Marathon. And that led us down a path of engagement, activation, and encouragement, inspiring these women to join Team Milk. And in return, we would give a donation to Girls on the Run in their name. And what we found was this opportunity to build a one-on-one relationship and a community of runners that was able to hear the milk message in an organic and genuine way to their passion, and then play back the benefits of milk in their training and their recovery. And all that led us to, okay, we can do that in running with a mature audience. Can we do that again against youth in a gaming audience? It's so hard to reach today's kids, right? Today's youth are, over programmed, from school to dance to sports to academia and tutors, and they all live digitally by their phones, right? So for us to try to go through schools was no longer the most efficient way for us to go. So we took the learning from the running and then we took it and applied it to reaching girls in gaming. And in 2022, we launched the same kind of concept, not sponsoring an event, but going and participating and activating with TwitchCon was our first start into gaming. In 23, we learned a lot about gaming, particularly in females, and we built a Discord server that allowed us to go scrape, crawl, and develop new insights about these female gamers. And some of the things you find, are intuitive, and some of the things you find out are very head scratchers. So as you can imagine, as all women are underrepresented and undervalued in sports and media coverage, it's no different in gaming. In fact, what we learned was that, the top woman gamer only gets about 1/20th or 5% of the winnings that the top male gamer gets. But for her to achieve that, she's got to participate in twice as many events over the course of a year. So women are underrepresented. They're treated unfairly in the gaming environment. And in fact, they're not celebrated for their success because they were born digital. Today's female gamers were born digital, no different than any 12 to 22-year-old male. And they have the same experience, same skill sets, in some cases, better strategic sense about them in gaming. But when their gaming handle, kind of gives them away as a female, they face some really unfortunate toxic situations and comments. So for us, it's all about, representation, contribution, and elevating the female gamer in a way that's more equitable to today's, landscape.
So I want to go a bit deeper on some of the
Yep,
points you just brought up.
right.
Because milk and gaming, they seem like completely incongruent realms. So how do you hope a gaming tournament can help promote the benefits of milk?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. When we were in 2022, when we dipped our toe into this with TwitchCon and went there and activate, we went there and activate based on consumer insights and research that said we could be there. We have a right to be there, and we took on the marketing slogan that we are the performance drink of gamers. Right, because all wheat milk is it's a nutritional powerhouse. As you know, I'm not going to get into the 13 features and benefits that we've all learned and heard over a number of times. We're trying to modernize milk, right? And bring it into new modern environments like gaming and reinforce where we have the credibility to play. So we have credibility there for protein, for you to have faster reaction times. We have credibility there, for other nutrients to give you focus. We have credibility there in chocolate milk for recovery to help you get re-energized for your next match. A lot of the gaming space, as you can imagine, is endemic technology, but it's also energy drinks, which has a high degree of caffeine and other artificial ingredients, and creates a lot of crash and other, I would say, distractions to gaming. Milk is a natural superfood, nutrient-rich powerhouse that helps you stay focused and perform your best while you're gaming.
So kind of pivoting off of that, it seems like using milk to empower women seems very important to your organization. And I was hoping you could explain how milk benefits female lives specifically, or how it can better be marketed to female consumers.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, listen, I think the most important thing about milk, the product, is reinforcing its benefit for males and females. The reason we've chosen females is they're underrepresented, number one. Number two, they are also the lifeblood of any purchase decision today and tomorrow, right? So today's gatekeepers still remain predominantly women, as much as men have taken on a primary caregiver role over the last 10, 20 years, but women still make the majority of decisions, number one. Number two, they also set the shopping list. And then number three, they are a mentor to their kids. So we can reinforce and reconnect with women the benefit of milk for themselves and for their kids. They are more likely to encourage their kids to drink milk more often for a longer period of time during their development stage. There's nothing more critical than delivering the 13 nutrients and benefits that milk offers to today's kids. From family planning stage, with moms working on when they're going to have children and when they're going to start a family, through the first 1,000 days where there's all that critical cognitive development, right? Milk, provides so many rich nutrients, beyond the protein, but like iodine. Iodine's critical to cognitive development. And, in today's, kind of food inspired world that we live in through HGTV and Instagram, a lot of us are using fancy salts, right? Like, Himalayan pink salt, sea salt, this salt from that part of the world. None of those are iodized. And we've now lost a big part of a nutrient that's important to childhood development that milk can still deliver on. So, milk has a role in development, in real-time performance now, and in future building for both moms and their kids.
So as the tournament is underway, have you been learning anything fresh about marketing milk?
Yeah, all day long. The tournament is a multi-month arc. We kicked it off in an announcement earlier this year, partnering with female gamers and female gamer influencers to help us design it right. We want to make sure this was designed by women for women. And we partner with a really well-known influencer called Peach Cobbler, a lovely young lady in her 20s, great representation of gaming, and partner to milk. And we learned a lot from her in partnering with an all-women's team to produce this to meet the needs of today's women gamers. We produced it in partnership with a group by the name of Radiant, and also another development partner with us called Women in Arena, or WOTE. And they help us to scrape the gaming social graph, whether it's Twitter or X or Discord, to help us learn what is motivating to women, what is inspiring to women, and how do we build relevancy back to milk without being heavy-handed. The three trends that we really work on is that, today's consumers don't want commercials, right? They want engagement. They want to be entertained. The second thing is telling a brand story today is not about hiring a celebrity, but it's doing it through creators and influencers in their own words, right? Letting go of some of your narrative. And then the third, what we really want to do is leverage communities. And so the Milk Cup taps into all three of those, right? So we're not creating a commercial, we're creating an event, an activation that's built on a community, and we use people like Peach Cobbler to tell that story and integrate the message in authentic and genuine ways, and always celebrating successes and everybody's participation, with a cheers to milk where and when it makes sense.
So with this experience, has it inspired you to plan any cross-promotional collaborations in the near future?
We think of the Milk Cup like we think of a Team Milk 26.2 or Every Women's Marathon as beta tests in 2024. They both started from zero over the last, 18 months. They both have followings in excess of 30,000 each in their communities. And we think we're onto something here. Whether, the Milk Cup, started with, gaming, as I mentioned, the last couple of years. But this year, when we launched it with Peach Cobbler, and we're having a circuit of qualifiers, 3 qualifiers. And with each qualifier, we learn something and we optimize it for the future. Our first qualifier was in May, and we had over 700,000 participants and streamers. In June, we were up over 800,000. Our next one coming up at the end of July, early August, we hope to break 1 million. And it's all because we're learning different things about optimizing, connecting, and amplifying our message and our audience. So I think as we continue to beta test and optimize this platform, the Milk Cup, we would definitely look to invest further in 2025, build a nice arc, and hopefully we'll be able to bring other partners along in a positive manner, because this is all about equity and positivity.
Fantastic. Well, I know the Milk Cup is underway right now, but if people want to find out more about Milkpep and their message, where online can they learn about them?
Well, that's great. That's a great question. There's 2 websites. So for a B2B, our retailers, our processors, our partners, I tell you to go to milkpep.org. But if you're a consumer, you want to learn specifically about the Milk Cup, or you want to learn about our other consumer-facing programs, that's gonnaneedmilk.com.
Great. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Al Dejewski of Milk Cup, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brett.
And thank you all for watching.